The most magical place on earth is Walt Disney World, and it's the perfect setting for the most competitive and action-packed volleyball tournament in the country, where hundreds of the world's best young players are here to claim championships. Welcome to the 43rd AAU Junior National Volleyball Championship. An 18 international champion has been crowned in the Dominican Republic. Now it's time for the 18 Open Championship, where we feature two American teams here at the HP Fieldhouse. Mizuno Sports Performance out of Illinois taking on Minnesota Select, hailing, of course, from the great state of Minnesota. Welcome back inside our state-of-the-art studio. Drew Felios alongside the former UCF star Aaron Campbell. And Aaron, look down the roster of these two programs from Mizuno Sports Performance in Minnesota. First thing I notice, every single student athlete committed to play college volleyball.
And it's not just the small schools, it's big schools. UCF, my alma mater, that's a big one. They've really established themselves in conference and they've made the tournament the last few years. K-State, UCLA, Wisconsin, Minnesota. These are all big teams with reputations of success, and these girls are going to continue that. So we're really in for a treat for how competitive the day is going to be.
No such thing as just playing for fun. Yeah. There are high stakes on the line. Let's take a look now at some of the teams with Minnesota coming in, high-powered talent from top to bottom. Look at their body of work so far this week, outscoring opponents by nearly 100 points to get here to the championship.
And I had the opportunity to watch them against that TAV 18 black team earlier today, and they played phenomenal volleyball. Just really well-oiled machine. Everybody kind of firing on all cylinders, so they're a really good team to play against.
Here's some of the names. The one that really sticks out, number 23, Molly Haggerty, has played so well here in years past.
Oh my gosh, and she played lights out this morning. She is going to just run all over the court. They're going to give her the ball in any situation that they need to bail out. Back row, front row, twos, right side. They're going to use her as much as they can.
Now for Minnesota Select. This team, 8-2 coming into this championship match. You look at their roster, star-studded. Big-time schools like UCLA, Kansas State, 1-2, McGraw and Martin headed to Minnesota, staying in their home state.
Yeah, and this team against that Coast team this morning, Coast is a very, very good team, and Minnesota was just hanging in every point. They run their offense very efficiently. The one thing that they do struggle with, though, is serve receive. Their libero had a really tough time receiving those passes from Coast, and so I'm really curious to see how they're going to respond to that in a tough match like this.
I said earlier this week we have not seen a lot of the slide so far in these championships. That's about to change.
Yeah, and both teams run that really well. They're going to use it at the opportune times, too. When the setter's in the front row, they're trying to spread that offense out, and they're going to go to it. And Sports Performance actually runs more of a 7, so the slide's a little bit inside. They're going to beat the pin player a little bit more and have that 6-seam open.
This should be awesome. Cannot wait. Second of 4 championship games coming at you. Mizuno Sports Performance getting ready for Minnesota Select. We are ready. We hope you are too. Coming up next.
ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex has been the home of Atlanta Braves baseball since 1997. This preeminent multi-sport complex hosts athletes from over 70 countries in more than 60 sports, all in the halo of the #1 family vacation destination, Walt Disney World Resort. For more information on visiting the complex, visit ESPNWWOS.com. The ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex is one of the most exciting youth baseball complexes in America, where players of all ages compete against both national and international rivals. Athletes can hone their skills year-round through open registration tournaments and spring training programs for high school and college teams on major league quality fields while creating memories that last a lifetime. To find out how your team can play here, visit DisneyBaseball.com.
Welcome back to the ESPN Wide World of Sports, set for the 18 Open Championship. Mizuno Sports Performance and Minnesota Select, as the bottom level is just about filled up here inside the HP Fieldhouse. The Dominican Republic winning the 18 International title game. There weren't a lot of people in the stands during that match because, of course, the international flavor. But now you've got two powerhouses within the United States. This should be very intense.
Yeah, and the teams that are still here that are underneath this age group, a lot of the times the programs require that they come and watch this. But you know what? A lot of times they just want to, because this is going to be one of the best matches we've seen all weekend.
There, take a look at Jenny Mosser. She's headed to UCLA as Minnesota Select will wear the white tops on the right side. And on the other, Mizuno Sports Performance. We are underway. Here, the AAU Girls Junior National Volleyball Championships, and the first point is scored. Now set up, and that's a nice kill by Deshia Lofton. Mizuno Sports Performance, Aaron, they will be on the right, working right to left. Minnesota will start on the left side of the court. It is rare you see two teams with the exact same uniforms. Even the liberos look similar here this morning.
Yeah, they're just doing that to confuse us, Drew. I think they have it out for us this morning.
Christina Bowe right there, headed to the University of Denver. And 2-1, Mizuno with the early edge. Ball tipped up, and now there's the point. Nicely done, Musser in on that one.
And that's where that gold medal square defense gets you in trouble. Look at how far up the middle back is to make some kind of read on that. Isn't stopped, and that's kind of where she plays on defense a lot of the time, maybe 2 feet farther back, but you get caught deep in shots a lot, and playing the ball overhead is really challenging.
Nice dig by Martin there. Now put up, bottom of your screen. C23 Haggerty active. Another point for Minnesota Select.
And good outsides, make that play on defense, and then immediately call this 32. Look at how far inside she is. She knows that she's not going to be able to get all the way out to her point, calls it there. It's those in-game quick decisions that set apart the good and the great.
These two teams so evenly matched. Going to see several players really thrive along the front lines. We're also going to see great defenses. Caroline McGraw goes back to serve. Set was a little short, and it'll be another point for Minnesota Select.
And that's where we saw them struggle this morning, too. We saw Sports Performance really struggle with the serve-receive game, and teams aren't serving extremely tough at them. They just aren't making the right adjustments with their feet to make the play.
Oh, nicely done. That is unstoppable. Deshia Lofton is headed to Indiana. She has got great range and can really get off the floor.
And I like that they're running this first ball kill. That's what they're really good at, getting out of those situations fast, and it's a good connection between the two. The setter's still running a one tempo, but it's the attacker's a little bit farther away.
Minnesota Select now trying to get a good swing. Mizuno Sports Performance goes to Haggerty, their top gun. Haggerty unable so far to really get going, but that's just a matter of time. It'll be a point for Minnesota Select.
And some people think that that's an easy play for a setter to make. Great job by Hilly at the front row, going up and pressing those hands over the net to get the block. She's really good about going up second, and when you have a joust like that, that's all you want. You want to be the second person to go up in the air because you have time in your favor.
So Sydney Hilly, number 22 for Minnesota, and Haggerty, 23 for Sports Performance, both headed to Wisconsin. Two future teammates. Two future Badgers going at it here in this championship match, as this one is hit long, point Mizuno.
And even though they're from different towns, because they're in the same region, it's almost like what we saw with Orlando the two teams yesterday, OVA, TBVA, and Top Select. They're essentially in the same region, so they're going to be pulled to a lot of the same schools, and they're going to be playing against each other at the high school levels as well.
ESPN Wide World of Sports is AAU country throughout the entire summer. We got track and field July 15th and 16th. You can watch those broadcasts on AAU.com. Right outside on the track, a busy few days there. And then we've got hoops returning to the HP Fieldhouse July 18th and July 24th. You can watch that on ESPN3. And Aaron, I heard you could play some basketball back in the day as well. Is that just a rumor?
That is a rumor. I did not play. I played basketball in middle school, and that was about it. Not my sport.
Point for Mizuno as they pull to within 3. Jenny Mosser making her presence felt early for Minnesota Select. That ball does drop, and it will be the first point for Molly Haggerty, the young lady headed to Wisconsin.
And I love that play call when you run the wave too. You have the middle go behind for the wave, and then you have the attacker come in. She's actually passing right back in that play and runs that too. It's a lot easier for her to get to that position.
Kept alive now. Good job by Natalie Schilling. Middle of the court. Oh, good dig there, but they cannot keep the rally going. Good effort by Natalie Schilling. So 9-4 here at the start. Good start by Mizuno Sports Performance.
And that's really when Haggerty is at her best in those out-of-system plays, especially out of the backcourt. She just ate up TAV Black this morning by swinging on that. That's a triple block, and she beats the pin player's outside hand. Libero, it was actually placed perfectly. It was just a really well-struck shot.
First ace of the match. So Mizuno now with 3 straight points. They've cut the lead to 9-6. Right side. This is an impressive player. We saw Jasmine Martin play in warm-ups. She can't get the point that time, but she has got an impressive swing.
Yeah, and I love her on that right side. She's a lot taller than most of the girls on the court, so not only is she a great attacker, but her blocking presence is really what sets her apart.
Nice dig by McGraw. Middle of the court again. That is the sweet spot. And making it happen is April Houston. So Houston goes back now to serve. 10-7. Ball one at the net. Bryn Carlson.
And that's what this Minnesota Select team does really, really well, is those jousts at the net. They are really good at timing those perfectly in order to make sure they get the point.
Ball sails wide, went just wide on Schilling.
And it looks like they're calling that ball in, so point back to Sports Performance.
Oh, surprising. It looked like it was about a foot wide of the line. Nonetheless, it's 11-8. Another good dig by McGraw. Number 1, really getting after it.
And great block at the net. Attacker doesn't see the block, and that's the struggle with running that play in transition a lot of times. If the pass is too fast, the middle doesn't have an opportunity to see where the block is, and it's camped right in front of her.
There's the power of Jasmine Martin. She, along with Caroline McGraw, has been making all the digs for Minnesota, both headed to Minnesota. So 2 future Golden Gophers. It's such a fun time in all the lives of these athletes. They're going to finish up club play, then likely some of them will even head up during the summer to enroll in their universities, start to train, Aaron, start to eat the proper foods, and get into the systems.
Yeah, I think the earlier you get there, the better. I made the mistake of going up right before preseason, and I was just I was caught a little off guard by what preseason entails. It's very grueling and very intense, but it is one of the most incredible experiences coming in as a freshman and seeing the level of play and physicality that you could strive to be later on in your career.
Another kill by Martin. Well, she's got a great swing. You're going to see these girls playing in a Final Four down the line, possibly for a national championship, I guarantee you. Here's Haggerty. Molly Haggerty, a little bit quiet in this first set. Her team trailing 13-10. Here she is again. Great dig by McGraw. Now they attack the right side. Defense right now solid for Minnesota. Haggerty one more time. And that one is going to score.
And that's really her favorite shot out of system because she knows the defense is going to be a little bit less honest. They're going to cheat toward the middle of the court because that's where she swung most of the time. And just that sweet spot through the 1 and 6 seam. She usually angles it a little bit more down the line, but that was the sweet spot there.
And it's going to be an ace. So Mizuno Sports Performance serving it up. Sports Performance now within 1. They've been climbing uphill, back-to-back aces by Mizuno Sports Performance.
And coaches love to serve the outside attacker while they're in the back row having to pass because they're already thinking about, okay, what am I going to do in the point when I go attack? They don't think about passing the ball first.
All tied at 13 now. The block comes, and it's going to be just a bit off point. Minnesota select. You know, Aaron, we see so many great universities that these girls are going to play for. Big names like UCLA and Minnesota and Wisconsin. If you could do it all over again, let's just imagine you're the top recruited volleyball player in the country. You have your pick, okay? Aside from UCF, because I know you'd probably pick them number 1 again, where would you like to play?
Probably San Diego State.
Really?
Yeah. It's a smaller campus. They've got a great school, great volleyball reputation. And who doesn't want to live in San Diego, you know? But they really do have a history of winning, and I love their program. I love what their coaches preach, and it was just, that was my dream school. And actually my assistant coach at UCF has made the switch over to be the assistant there as well. So I've had some really cool experiences talking to her about it.
Very interesting as that ball sails a little bit long. You know what's interesting to me, you would think when you think volleyball, UCLA, San Diego State, University of Florida, teams near the coast would be good. But now you've got programs like Wisconsin, Nebraska, Penn State, just playing amazing. Why do you think that's the case?
Because they're getting these farm girls, you know, they're farm strong. And you know, a lot of times the Florida girls, they're probably gym strong or they're just good with technical skill. But these girls from the Midwest, look at that power.
Oh.
I mean, it's unrivaled. You see power from some Florida teams, but you don't see it stacked this high with 9 players on one squad being that lethal on offense.
Look at Molly Haggerty hit through that block. She is headed to Wisconsin. She is going to be a force for the Badgers in years to come. Already with 5 kills, and we're just past the midway point in set number 1. 43rd AAU Girls Junior National Volleyball Championships. Another point by Minnesota Select. Drew Felios, Aaron Campbell, and the entire ESPN Wide World of Sports crew. There you get a look at Jenny Mosser. She's playing well. She is headed to UCLA next season. How about that program, the Bruins? They're not too shabby either. Now from the right side, they run the slide, and that's the play. You say, Aaron, they run to perfection.
Yeah, and I love that they run it a little bit more inside because, again, it beats the block every time. Great footwork, but see how it's not all the way to the pin, and so that gives her more room. If she needs to swing down the line, she can. If she wants to cut it cross court, it has to be sharp, but she can do it, especially on that slide. It generates momentum to go that way.
Mizuno Sports Performance trying to pull away here. They've been climbing uphill and now have a 2-point lead. Haggerty can't save that one.
And it's interesting that they actually have Haggerty playing right back defense on that play. She should be probably in the left back or middle back. It's a lot easier for a setter to make that play because they understand the relationship of the court. But all she has to do is turn that shoulder back in, and that would have been a good dig.
Oh, big spike down. Jasmine Martin playing well in set number 1.
And what a set that was. Side set to perfection, down the line, one-on-one. I mean, there's nobody that can stop that play.
Quick there. Great reaction time from Ashley Shook, headed to Texas. They are going to love her in Longhorn country.
And you know what? Texas recruits some of the best setters in the country. That's their reputation. They have big middles, and they have good setters. And that is just a testament to her ability quarterbacking this team.
That slide won quickly and effectively. Point Minnesota Select trying to stay in it and not let Mizuno Sports Performance pull away. So here's Martin back to serve. We've gone back and forth in this first frame, and it has been exciting. $19-all. Big shot right there. First to 20 is Mizuno Sports Performance. Schilling credited.
And again, another inside set. I like this 32. It's almost actually like a shoot. So that ball, as it's setting, it doesn't have the same kind of rainbow effect. It's skating across the top of the net, and you just have to be ready for that and big approach.
Now put over by Haggerty. Mizuno Sports Performance should get a good swing here. They stay with it. McGraw. Touched by Carlson, played well. Haggerty, another chance. Blocked at the net. And it's going to be a point for Minnesota Select.
And those are almost plays you're willing to give up, because if you look at the defense and you look at what the coverage is like, they're cupped around that hitter. In the event that the block goes straight down, they have somebody to dig it. Those deep balls are really hard to predict, so those are points you almost are willing to accept that they don't go your way.
Crowd comes alive just a bit, and it's the first ace of the match for Minnesota Select. So Tori Hansen puts one down, and a timeout for Mizuno Sports Performance as they trail by 1. So you're seeing some of the best young volleyball players in the country going at it here in this 18 Open Championship. We got much more to come as well. Coming up at 1:30, the 18 Premier title game. And then at 3:30, our final match of this tremendous event, the World Championship. One of those teams will be Dominican Republic. We had a chance to see them in our first match of the day. Now Haggerty, oh, hammer time. She nearly went into the net, was able to stay off it.
Yeah, and you never want to leave her one-on-one, because that's what we call lunch. Just big swing, nobody where she wants to swing at the ball, and just gets to unload. Those are really big confidence boosters in the middle of a match.
21-all. And they can't keep it alive. So point Minnesota Select. So Aaron, these athletes at the end of their high school careers, the end of their club careers as well, you come to events like this to get noticed by universities. These girls are all committed. For them, it's just about winning a title now, right?
Yeah, and I think it's, when I coached 18s, what I always tried to tell them was, hey, this is the last time you get to have fun playing volleyball. Because, I mean, I think they all take it really seriously, and that's a good thing. But this is the last time you get to play in the most freest form of it, I think. You know, when you go to college, it turns a little bit more into a job. You have people always looking for your spot, a lot more competitive, obviously. But this is the last kind of opportunity for you to just enjoy being a junior and having fun with it.
Mosser with the kill, 23-22. It's going to be interesting to see who can take this set, because we've had so many lead changes throughout. Now in the middle of the court. Somehow they keep it alive. Sandra Moore made that happen. Number 34 for Mizuno Sports Performance. Head to Evangel University in Springfield. There she is right there. $23 all. Big time kill, and it's down. This will be a point for. Did they award it to Mizuno?
They did. It hit the antenna.
Yeah, that'll be a point for Mizuno. That came off the antenna.
We've seen Mosser kind of struggle with those line shots a lot. I don't know why she keeps going back to it. She's had about 3 or 4 antenna tags, so she needs to try to mix up the shot and go back to the cross-court game where she is so powerful and beat the defense that way.
Jasmine Martin leading the way for Minnesota Select. April Houston's gotten in on a few balls as well. So important who wins this first set, especially when you're playing best 2 out of 3. Tori Hansen now digging in for Minnesota. Set point. Good opportunity for Sports Performance. They run the slide. Minnesota Select is there. Block put up. Let's see if they go to Haggerty. No, they'll go right side. And this one is down. Mizuno Sports Performance climbs back to take the first set 25-23. Haggerty pitching in to lead the way for the team from Illinois. When we return, set number 2. Stay with us here at the ESPN Wide World of Sports.
Let your rising soccer star play and learn alongside greats of the game at Disney Soccer Academy. This unique camp experience features age and skill-appropriate coaching, along with daily interaction with superstars of the game. To find out how your child can participate, visit DisneySoccerAcademy.com. Disney Soccer Showcase is the ultimate place for top clubs and players to be seen by hundreds of top college coaches looking for great soccer talent. Rated the #1 youth soccer tournament in the U.S. in a Soccer America survey, Disney Soccer Showcase gives athletes a chance to shine on one of the biggest and best stages set for youth soccer in the country, here at ESPN Wide World of Sports Complex. For more information, visit DisneySoccerShowcase.com.
A comeback win in set number 1 for Mizuno Sports Performance, the team from Illinois. They trailed by as many as 5 points early on. How'd they win it, Aaron?
They really won it by just digging in on defense and converting the transition points. We saw them be so good in the first ball kill situation, but they were optimal in those transition points, and it was all because of Haggerty's offense. She did a really nice job of controlling it, and then their controlling of the net was also a huge factor.
Well, I love the way Haggerty just kind of glides through the air when she goes up to kill the volleyball. So now Mizuno Sports Performance will be on the left side of your screen. Minnesota Select on the right. There's Haggerty, and we've seen her year after year just growing and maturing as a player. And you look at her now, she looks like a college volleyball player. She is ripped out there on the court.
Yeah, and I think she might be one of those players that comes in and makes an immediate impact at the collegiate level. A lot of times coaches and teams recruit players that they know will develop into their second, third, fourth year, but I think she's going to be a contributor in her first.
Toughest part of becoming a college volleyball player is what? On or off the court?
balancing everything, the schedule. I mean, everything's scheduled down to the minute that you eat, but also recognizing what your role needs to be within the team. You know, every one of these girls is a big fish in a smaller pond. When you go to college, that's what everybody was. So it's kind of accepting the role of, okay, if I might not start this year, what my job is to just get better so I can get on the court for next year.
Haggerty starts off set number 2 with a kill. Now Minnesota Select coming back with a point of their own. Drew Felios and Aaron Campbell. Final day of the Junior National Volleyball Championships from the Amateur Athletic Union.
And Mosser, she's going to be the key factor in this set for Minnesota. They really need to get her going again.
How about the elevation that time from Dacia Lofton? She just kind of hangs in the air, doesn't she?
Yeah, and just gets fingertips on the ball. And that's all you need to get sometimes, is just getting some kind of touch. Doesn't have to be beautiful all the time, but a lot of those tricklers will happen in the middle because you're expecting a big, powerful swing.
It looks like they have a net violation here. That will be the case. So a point for Mizuno Sports Performance. This is Tiffany Clark, headed to Ann Arbor, Michigan to be a Wolverine. Nice kill there. This went right through the hands. And another point for Minnesota Select.
And all of the momentum going forward into the ball. That's what you want from a middle. Especially when you're off the net, you want to give them space to run through that ball and get as much power behind it as they can.
Minnesota Select attacking now from the left side. Mosser could not put it home. They're going to give her one more chance. Still cannot take advantage of the opportunity. And you can only give Molly Haggerty so many chances. She's going to make you pay quickly.
And I like that they keep her on the right side in that rotation. They don't push her out to the outside. They keep her at the right, and it gives her more opportunities and different looks. The defense doesn't know how to defend her from that side, and so they keep her there.
8 kills on the board already for Haggerty.
And I love that choice by Hilly. I love the one-footed, off the net, almost a slide approach one. I think it gives your hitters more options, especially when you're behind. When the setter has to take 2 steps behind where she normally likes to set from.
April Houston knew what to do with it there. Now Haggerty starting to dominate. 9th kill of the match.
And such a good play call, running the split. Shook runs the split perfectly. Pin players are open. It leaves that zone open again, and that's where we've seen Haggerty get her most kills, is on the 2s and the pipes in a design play like that.
5-3. Big time block. Shows up, but it's just out of bounds. You know, even though they don't get the point there, I think they get their point across with how devastating that block can be.
Yeah, I mean, you heard that just shake the gym. But great swing by Bryn Carlson. You can see at the last second that left hand of Shook just turns an inch, and that's the difference.
Now they'll attack that left side. Haggerty right now in a groove. This time it was 33, Natalie Schilling, who made the play.
And I haven't seen that shot be hit with so much velocity. The crossbody shot, you're taking away the approach and all of the stuff you build because it's just a shoulder shot, but man, does she have a strong shoulder.
Kind of flat-footed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sydney Hilly playing well. Jenny Mosser, also her kill count moving up for Minnesota Select. Oh, quickie right there. Ashley Shook, nicely done.
And that's her favorite rotation to do it in, when she's in 6 and she's about to go back to serve. Nobody jumping in front of her. That's just a really good time to do it.
7-5, slide run, dug well, come right back.
Oh, great dig.
Mosser in the back row. Defense out of sorts for Minnesota Select.
And I just don't think Hilly was expecting that dig to be as perfect as it was, and couldn't make her mind up before the play. I would have loved to see her set that 3, because that would have just been a devastating attack if that would have been executed.
Right now, everything seems to drop for Mizuno Sports Performance. Lofton got airborne again.
And what you want from a middle is that she's up in the air as the setter's setting the ball. It's a little bit late, but the timing is almost there. Almost there. That tempo is nearly perfect.
Crowd loving it here at the HP Fieldhouse. 9-5 is your score. Mizuno Sports Performance started slow. They trailed for most of the first set, but right now really starting to get ahead of steam. And you know, when you take on a team when their best player, in this case Molly Haggerty, is playing at the top of her game, it's amazing how everybody else just feeds off that.
Yeah, and that's why you like to have your outsides kind of be your leaders by example. You know, your setters are typically very loud. They want to control it from the communication standpoint. But what you want from your outside hitters is to be that composed, reliable player, because they do get all the junk. And if they're not fazed by anything, then nobody else should be.
There's the slide. And that one's going to be put away. Christina Bowe going to head out west to Denver.
That was a great setting save by Hilly. Such good body control. Close to the net, makes that perfect slide set.
Haggerty. Everything she touches right now is gold. Another kill for the future Wisconsin Badger.
And it's almost like you just cheat that way. You cheat red and let the slide beat you. You can block the slide one-on-one. In fact, a lot of Olympic programs do that now, where they leave the slide one-on-one with the left front blocker and just bail out to block the outside.
Killed by Jenny Mosser. Mosser's been the best player so far for Minnesota Select. It has been her and Jasmine Martin scoring most of the points. April Houston, number 3, has also been a force up front, but they have not matched the intensity or the production of Haggerty. And this will be another point for Mizuno Sports Performance.
They called her on a foot fault. You don't normally see that at this age.
Tiffany Clark puts it in the air. Try that quick set. Good job getting on the deck by Shook. And this ball's going to drop. So finally something goes Select's way. Mosser once again.
And even though Sports Performance is playing that gold medal squared, what happens is there are still susceptible zones in the middle of the court, even though the middle back is playing super shallow.
An opportune time for a service error there, just as you're trying to establish momentum. Mizuno now with a 4-point lead. Kept alive. Oh, second time in this set. Ashley Shook has just gone to town.
And Ashley Shook gets up so high in the air on these plays. Full extension of that left hand. It's hard to do, especially if you're a right-handed setter, which she is, to make that play with the left hand with that much strength and power.
That's a tough play to combat, even if you're ready for it, Aaron, let alone if you're not expecting it. From the back row now, Haggerty gets the touch.
And again, just by running the slide and keeping the block honest, they have to go one way or the other, and they're not prepared for the pipe in the middle of the court.
Double digits in kills now for Molly Haggerty. You're watching a future superstar in her craft here today.
And that's what I've been waiting for all day from Mosser, just her unloading. She's been taking these crossbody shots and not having a lot of velocity on it. And what happens when you play a team like Sports Performance, you have to add some heat to the ball because their defense is really good about running through the ball. So the sets have to be there for her to take that really big swing, and I love that she unloaded on that ball.
Mosser now has 11 kills. And I'll tell you what, 34 Sandra Moore may be going to the small school Evangel University, but she is going to make some noise there.
Yeah, and I think that you want to, as a freshman, you want to come into a school like that and make an impact, and that's one of those players that will. She'll be on the court, definitely in her first season, and she's going to add a lot to this team.
15-9. Now played right back. Asking for it again is Houston. She won't get another chance. The defense too good for Mizuno Sports Performance.
And what's so good about that is Moore shows her hands late. So the right attacker thinks that she has that shot, and then at the last second dives those hands in and takes away the zone she's hitting in.
So 16-9 is your score here in the second set. And some trivia time here at the ESPN Wide World of Sports. In what year did the AAU join forces with Walt Disney World and relocate headquarters to Orlando, Florida? 4 choices: 1971, 1989, was it 96, or was it right after Y2K, 2001?
It's going to be one of C or D. I know it was close. I'm going to guess C.
Okay. There you go. Aaron, you are a genius.
I really am, aren't I? Good guess.
C
Good
is
guessing.
the correct answer. AAU, just a great partnership with Walt Disney World, and I just love how every summer, just a plethora of sports and titles decided here at this tremendous facility.
It's almost as if this venue was designed for that relationship.
Absolutely. Track and field and basketball coming up in the month of July. Blocked that time, and for the first time, Minnesota Select really becoming a force defensively. Big block.
And all around great playing from both sides, but you can see in that play alone why that left hand of the blocker is so important. The tendency is to rotate that shoulder off as you press that right hand, but good disciplined blockers push that ball over with that left.
They just come right back though, and Natalie Schilling, the future Duke Blue Devil, makes it a 7-point lead. Sarah Nielsen heads back to serve. Nielsen headed to Minnesota. There are 3 future Golden Gophers in this match, with Nielsen for Mizuno Sports Performance and then McGraw and Martin on the other side for Minnesota.
And the misconception about setters is that they're not good blockers, and that usually is the case. But you have one that's tall, athletic, plyometric. She adds so much by being a presence at the net.
Yeah, really just adds another dimension when your setter can get up like that. Carlson can't put it down. Now Haggerty takes something off that one. Minnesota Select had a chance there, and this one of the better volleys of the match. Minnesota Select can't get a good swing on it, and they're not going to be able to return it.
And when you hit the ball deep like that, the defender has to think, okay, where am I in relationship to the end line? Do I need to take that ball overhead, or do I need to take it underneath? And just by that split second, the timing of the hands is misplaced, and that ball goes right into the net.
Another point scored by Christina Bowe, but altogether up to this point, especially in the second set, the offense of Mizuno Sports Performance has just been more free-flowing, like they know where to go with the ball every time.
Yeah, and I think that you have to give so much credit to Ashley Shook. I mean, she is quarterbacking this offense to perfection, knowing exactly what opportune times to run each play and set that play. And that's what you want from a setter. You want one that's going to be the Peyton Manning of your offense, and that's exactly what she is.
Good analogy there, as Lofton combines with Shook for the block. 3 players over 5 kills for Mizuno Sports Performance, and right now they are closing in with a 20-11 lead. Ball sails out of bounds. Nicely done by Christina Bowe, but Minnesota Select's going to have to go on a run here. Quick slide run, and blocked right there by Minnesota Select.
And really the only error we've seen from Lofton throughout this whole match. And I love this call. I like those slide ones. I think they're really effective. It just has to be a little bit higher, and she needs to be a little bit closer to her setter.
Haggerty puts it over. Martin with the nice dig.
Oh, great reach.
And this is going to be a point for Minnesota Select.
But huge dig by Konovadoff. She was actually named to the all-national team this weekend. She's only on the court for 3 rotations, but she has made an impact for this sports performance team.
Haggerty doesn't have the angle there. An opportunity for Minnesota Select. Good dig back row. Clark has been wiping the floor since the start. And Molly Haggerty has just brought the hammer here this afternoon.
And not even on a real set. I mean, it's a bump set. It's a great second contact, but she makes that sharp cross-court shot, which has about 10% chance of falling with perfection on a bump set.
Mizuno 4 points away. Spiked right down. Nicely done by Bo. Bo has caught fire in set number 2 for Minnesota Select.
And that's what you want when something's, you know, there's not as much efficiency on the outsides, or your outsides are getting blocked, or they're getting frustrated. You love to have middles that you can run plays with to take some pressure off.
This ball heads out. Now 3 points away from Mizuno Sports Performance. Last time we'll see Molly Haggerty playing in an AAU competition here at Walt Disney World. I almost feel like after this match is over, win or lose, we should have like a little ceremony on the court. That's how much I feel like we have seen her over the years, and we've really come to know her as a player. Good angle there. April Houston has stayed hungry.
And that's really where you can beat a block that shows late in those tips, because they're going to get those touches. It's going to throw the defense that's reading behind them off a little bit. They're not going to be as efficient stepping to the ball and making a play.
Go to Haggerty, and they are not messing around. Mizuno Sports Performance wants to close out this match.
She just hangs up in the air for so long to get that play. The line shot, I mean, we love it. Outsides love it on the right side for sure, but they're giving it to her, and she's just taking full advantage of it.
Point scored by Martin.
Martin's really been the go-to girl in this second set. She's the only one that's had those really clean kills in the middle of the court. Everyone else has had nice high shots off the hands or roll shot kills, but she's done a great job of swinging heavy on the ball.
34 has given her team a big lift. Another point for Sandra Moore. Very heady player on the front line.
And the set's even low, but look at the adjustment in the shoulder. She runs through the ball and then changes the direction of where the ball is going to go. She knows the cross-court shot isn't there, uses the hand to make the change.
Match point for Mizuno Sports Performance. They have run away with it in set number 2. The touch there gets over for Minnesota Select. It'll be 24-18, but the crowd eagerly anticipates what could be the final point. Mizuno Sports Performance comes right back, and there it is. Official now is going to wave this one off, so Mizuno Sports Performance, a little premature celebration there. Haggerty just claps the hands and says, whatever.
You've got 6 match points to play with. I think you're going to be all right.
They go right to her. Softly that time. Dug by Minnesota Select. And this is going to be hit long. Mizuno Sports Performance, your 18 Open champions here at the ESPN Wide World of Sports. And Molly Haggerty, see the tears coming down. I think she senses that Her amateur career in terms of high school and AAU is coming to an end. We've watched her grow, we've watched her mature, and this year we're watching her lead and we're watching her teammates follow.
Yeah, and I think I got a little bit emotional there. I've been in that position where it's your last kind of hurrah. They do have another tournament next weekend that they might be participating in, but this is really the last time that she gets to enjoy herself, and what a performance to go out on. I mean, she was unstoppable throughout this whole match, and you can get that raw emotion from her. She loves the game, and you can see it in her play too.
All right, let's break down her game. First, from a kill perspective, how good is she? How is she going to be a force on the college level?
I mean, she lives up to the hype. You know, she's one of those players that you hear about her, you watch her play, and sometimes a lot of times when that happens, the talk doesn't match the game, but she's one of those players that's just all over the court. They utilized her really well, and what my favorite play of the game was this 2 out of the pipe in the middle, running that play with such efficiency, and it really just speaks volumes about what she's been able to do and train in the game that she has picked up. She recognizes what her weaknesses are, which was the backcourt game, and she's made the biggest change in progress in that position.
So now we're going to see Mizuno Sports Performance playing at 3:30 against the Dominican Republic. Competition's going to be a lot better there. If Shook the setter and Haggerty can elevate their game, do the Americans have a shot in this one? Keep in mind, they're playing against a team with the best girls in the country. So this is just one team playing against the best of a country. Can they hang in there?
I think so. And I think the biggest thing that they need to keep in mind is that this Dominican Republic team is going to frustrate their offense. They're going to get digs, but you have to be able to have an answer to it. Be very tricky and be powerful. This Dominican Republican team, they are tricky and they're scrappy, but they are beatable. And I think with the way that Sports Performance just played, they might have their number.
All right. That's going to be interesting. 3:30 start time on that match. And we've got one more match before that coming up as we continue a busy volleyball championship Sunday here at the ESPN Wide World of Sports. In the meantime, congratulations to the team from Illinois, Mizuno Sports Performance, as they take the 18 Open Championship with a win over Minnesota Select.